Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my first part of my demoing today was on my personal page. I did share that to my business page if you want to catch that. Basically, I showed you our bistro sign, and we did our creative kickstart transfer. They work hard, snack often, and love you to the fridge and back on here. Keeping with the same color scheme that we started yesterday with another kickstart transfer, which was this coffee one, the blah 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 coffee. It also comes with the Love is Brewing. So so we have our 2 of our 3 kickstart transfers used in the last 2 days. So yesterday I was telling you that those kickstart transfers are only available through the promotion, and the promotion is if you buy $75 in Couture products from me, you're going to get to choose one of the 3 kickstart creative kickstart transfers, which is, this is 2 of them right here. $100 you get to pick 2, $125, this is in US dollars. There's also the Canadian version of it, and then you can get all 3. However, you can actually purchase these transfers too, but why purchase them when you can earn them free, right? So, but you can purchase them. They're under specials and deals under the shop tab. And, but yeah, pick up some of these awesome surfaces, these transfers. Maybe you just need white, black, and gold shimmer to do what we're doing here. The last one that we haven't used yet, which I'll do later this week, is Cook, Eat, Clean, and Repeat. So we have that one yet to do. So we did that, and now the flowers part of today, we're going to work on a totally different project. And so I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to pull that one out. All right. Let me find on Facebook and see who's watching this live. So, oh my gosh. I don't know why I went on my personal page before. Okay. I gotta find it again. This is weird. There we go. Okay. Set that aside. We're gonna pop. Oh, I am gonna use the white paste again, but I'm not gonna use the gold. I don't believe. So I took our diagonal palette board by Couture. It fits our 12 by 18 transfers. It comes in this gray color, just like this. Okay. I added some green paint, which I use Fusion Mineral Paint. This is Park Bench, but obviously you can use any paint. It doesn't really matter. Just choose a color you like. I'm going to go with green. And then I just brushed on 1 coat and didn't even really brush it all the way to the edges because I knew I was going to go out to my hand sander and electric sander and sand up the edges and make it really rustic, okay? So we got it sanded down, and now I'm going to, I was thinking about trying our little stain spray on it to see what that would do, just for kicks and giggles. I like to experiment, and I'm willing to experiment live to see what you all think. So let me grab my spray box and the spray stain and see if we can just age just a little bit more before we put on the transfer, which I still need to show you. So hold on, I'll lay these by the sink, grab my stain spray, if I can remember where I put it. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay, I'm gonna grab my box. So the stain spray, it's called Distress Spray Stain. And I bought this package of 3. And we have the colors of Antique Linen, Vintage Photo, and Walnut. And Walnut is the darkest. So those 3. They're by Ranger, which is like, and this is the Tim Holtz. He's one of their creators with the company. So I bought this in a package, and I used it on my canvas that had the tree on it. If you scroll through my page here, you'll see that live where I did that. So that was the first time I'd ever used it. But you gotta put it in a box so you don't get overspray all over your surface, right? And I'm just gonna I'm gonna do the lighter ones first, just to see what it's like. The vintage photo. This one I might do the darker, because I am gonna use white lettering, so I think we'll be okay. So I've taken the Couture's diagonal palette board, comes in this gray. I lightly painted over one coat of green. Didn't even paint it all the way out because I knew I was going to sand it down and rough it up a little bit. So now I'm going to try experimenting with this Distress Spray Stain by Ranger. It's a Tim Holtz product. And I think if I just kind of missed it, I may end up like blending it in to stain it, to antique it, but let's just see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and just spray it around the edges, and then I probably am going to maybe take a wipe and just rub all that stain in to antique it. Let's see what it looks like. Oops, I'm gonna grab me a Clorox wipe. And right now, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty splattered. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of rub it. I'm just gonna take one area and just see if we can just rub it in a little bit. Really staining up pretty, the MDF, because really this board is made out of MDF, and even though it has a wood grain look to it, but this is making a pretty stain on the exposed MDF that I sanded down, so it looks pretty. I'm just going to rub the sides. And I like that it's kind of leaving some brown where I sanded the paint down in the middle too. So looks pretty good. It's kind of like, you know, antiquing or staining painted furniture. Kind of like, I might even put a little bit more on that light area. I'm going to go back to the walnut, which is the darker one. Add a little bit more dark. Let's see if we can get it to make it even darker. It's really turning out pretty. You could probably just use regular stain to do this too. But it's easy and it's really not very messy. Cool. I'm going to dry it with my dryer. See if we need to add it to any more places. So, who's going to say hello? Hello, good morning, Vicki. Good morning, Susan. Denise. Hi, guys. Hi, Conda. There's some other people watching. Mary, Amy, Gina. Hi, hi, hi. Morgan, could you get the same look by using a dab of stain? Absolutely. I don't know why you could. I already said that. You can just use regular stain. But I don't have any, and it's always kind of a mess. This is really not messy at all. If you got a box, You just spray it on there. Even my fingers aren't really that messy. And I know this washes off pretty easily because I've used it before and it washed off my hands easy. So I didn't have that mess. I think I can dry it pretty quickly with the dryer here. Because, you know, they mostly use this stuff on paper. Cardstock and watercolor paper and things like that. But I like trying it on, I tried it on canvas, where I left it more of a splattered look. And then now I'm just basically staining this painted wood areas here. I do feel like it's getting a little bit like lighter right in here, so I'm just gonna put some in that area in this corner too. See if I can get it darker. I like the darkness, so I'm just gonna rub that into that MDF wood here. Some more. Yeah, this is looking pretty cool, I must say. You still get the kind of the gray undertones from the first coat of paint, the Couture's gray paint. Then you've got the green that I added and I sanded down in areas, so now the stain is picking up and staining that exposed wood, so it's looking pretty cool. You can see it here. So I think our next thing would be to put a little wax on it. And then we'll chalk. And I'm going to chalk, I haven't even showed you the transfer yet, have I? There's one I haven't used yet. Get my box out of the way. I'm going to use, and I think I'm just going to do it kind of blending white and dune. I'm going to use this one. From the Bloom and Blossom collection. It's called Hope in a Little Flower. Okay, we're going to put that on here. Some kind of a creamy white. But look how beautiful that came out. If you're into worn looking wood pieces, looks pretty good. I think I'm going to do it this way, with this bigger piece on towards the bottom. Okay, but let's put a little wax on it for kicks and giggles. And I can go ahead and just use my dark wax since we're kind of doing the whole stain look anyway. So this is a Minwax wax paste in Special Dark. It comes in natural or Special Dark. And basically just has kind of like a stain in the wax. So I'm just going to rub this on so that our transfer doesn't stick too hard to it. We don't want to damage our surface or damage our transfer, so this helps protect that. Also, if we get a little bleed out, if that chalk paste is on top of wax, it's going to clean up a lot easier and be able to fix any bleed outs that you might get for some reason. So let's just wax this on. And you don't need a whole lot, just a nice little thin coating. Just rub it in. I also like the feel of having it waxed. It just feels smoother, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and wax the sides too. And the corners. This dark wax also helps darken the exposed wood, like on the corners where the spray didn't get. Okay. One more, I believe. We haven't done the sand yet. Looks like I didn't even sand this corner here. I could do this sandpaper really quick. Missed one. I did use my electric sander, but if you want to take the time, you can do it by hand, but electric sander goes a lot faster. There we go. And then we'll put some wax on that and darken it up. There we go. Okay. So here's our ending surface before we chalk. We got those greens and grays and browns and creams and all kinds of colors on it. See the edge there. So we're going to take our transfer. Get my lid shut. Like I said, we're going to do, there's so much hope in a little flower. And really, I find the best thing to put these full size seed transfers are on this diagonal board. It's my favorite surface, and I wish they'd come out with more. Well, I think maybe they have the burlap one, of course chalkboards, but I love creating with these diagonal boards. Super fun. Any other questions before we get going? Yep. Yes, use the stain. Okay. Just gotta get this off. I will put the towel on this a couple times on the sticky side just so it's not too sticky. I'll just lay our towel on here. I can lay both of them at the same time. So I have sticky side up, and I'm just putting a little fuzz on it from the towel. So we're not quite so sticky. It's kind of like the Post-it note. The more you take it on and off, the less sticky it becomes. However, you do get that stickiness back after you wash your transfer. But obviously, the more you use it, the less sticky it becomes. Just like with any sticker. That's why they say, oh, you could get up to 10, 12 uses. But if you clean it well and take care of it, you may get more. So we're going to lay this right on top. And I'm just going to use a very neutral dune and white combination. I'm just going to kind of mix them together as they come down the board. And it keeps shifting on me. These fit just perfectly on here. So just press it really well. Get all your air pockets out. I can see them coming out as I press it. Now with the diagonal board, they are boards, individual boards that come together. And sometimes one might be slightly higher than the other, and which means your print may not be perfectly smooth or even in that area of that seam. But I think that's what adds to the character of working with these diagonal boards, is having that hand printed look on it, or hand painted or printed by having those seams. Okay, so we got it all smooth here, right? We're gonna get our paste out. I'm gonna use white, bright white, and dune. Dune's just kind of gonna take that white down a step so it's not quite so white. And then, even then, I may apply again the dark wax paste to stain that down a little bit, because obviously your white paint isn't going to be that white anymore on an old sign. You know, it's not going to be the bright white. It's going to be aged. So let's splash, is that a word? On some white, and then we'll also do it in Dune. And then I'm just gonna kind of blend it as we go. So the Dune is in the old chalk paste formula and the white is in the new. So I'm using both formulas, which is fine. Don't feel like you have to have all the new. So I'm just going to S it down, which kind of just blends it as we go. So this Dune is just kind of dirtying up that white and giving a little bit of, you know, two-tone, so that's not all one color. Just makes it look more aged. So now I'm just making sure I have all the silkscreen areas covered, and then you want to scrape this off. And since it's not white anymore, I'm just going to put it back in the Dune. It's a little bit lighter than the original color, but it's going to blend in fine. Don't need to worry about it. And so scraping it down, you can see when you scrape it down, you can really get a lot of that paste off. And you want to be able to scrape it down that you can see your transfer. Okay, here we go. I'm always still quite amazed after hundreds and hundreds of designs I've done how pretty it can be and easy. Prepping the surface is what takes the most time. Look at that. It's just gorgeous. Right? Pretty, pretty, pretty. And you know, definitely you can do this on a blackboard, whiteboard, and put colored flowers in and, you know, make it really pretty. Or you can just simplify it down and just do this, right? It's really pretty. All the textures and everything in the board just make a big difference than using just a plain painted board. So pretty cool. And let me show you, like especially in this bottom flower, you can see lighter tones and darker tones of that Dune and white. So it's really pretty, right? And here's like on the W, there's the seam of the two boards, and you can see how it, you know, doesn't look perfect, but I think that's what's cool about it. It's gonna show off those diagonal palettes boards in there, and it just looks good. So once this dries really well, I can go over it again with the stained wax and even darken it a little bit more, but I'm loving the color right now, so I'm probably going to go over it with the clear wax, and that'll just kind of just smooths the surface. It feels really good after it's cured. It just feels finished, I guess. And so I do like to put, usually almost always put wax on top of my wooden signs. So let's dry it, and we'll put some wax on, and we're going to call this good. Yeah, so if you love it, throw me some hearts. Maybe you already did throw some hearts out there, but I love it. The stain is key here. I'm loving the stain on it. So if you don't want to mess with opening a jar of stain and wearing gloves and all that, this spray stain works perfectly. And my hands are hardly stained at all, and I know that's going to wash off because I've used it before. And just get you a big box to spray it in, and you're going to be good to go. I do know that the new paste takes a little bit longer to dry than the original paste, chalk paste color. So I'll make sure it's good and cured before I put that wax on. But I like my board to cool down from the heat, and then I'll add that wax. But that looks pretty sharp. Looks pretty sharp. So thanks for watching today. If you're just joining, I originally started on my personal page, and that's where I did this bistro sign real quick. And then I stopped and came over to my Odessa Rose page because I realized I was on the wrong page. And so if you want to go back, I did share that into my business page, so you can go to my Odessa Rose page and watch it there if you want to see it. It's pretty basic 101 chalking here, so you can check that out. All right, so any questions? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Tonda. Hi, Nancy. So, okay, awesome. Have a great day. Tomorrow I will be working at the attic in Valley. Hope to be back on Friday. Saturday I also work at the attic. So if you're in the neighborhood of Omaha, Nebraska, come on out to the attic in Valley, Nebraska. I would love to meet you. Bye.